So here's the script. You out there doing all type of everything, right? Meaning you're a criminal. You're a criminal. You're out there in the criminal world doing criminal stuff. Oh, wait, look at my plants. You're doing criminal stuff, right? You live in that lifestyle, and now you get pinched, and you want to know what's going to happen. What's going to happen with me, man? What, I got to do this dime, and how am I gonna look at the end of this dime, man? Is the girls gonna still like me? You know what I mean? You think about stuff like that. You thinking about the wrong stuff, brother. And if you have to ask, will you survive when you're in prison? I'm gonna tell you straight up, no. Man, you don't get your ass up out of here with that, man. You are not. Matter of fact, you about to do a bad bid. You about to be on the menu. You know what the menu is? That's when. Okay, let's just put it this way, right? If you got to figure out who you are when you about to go to jail, right? If you got any questions about yourself that's unanswered, all of that will be answered in the prison system for you. And trust me, because you're a criminal, there's no mercy on you. There's no, like, I don't know what some of you cats think. You understand me? Now, let me explain something. I'm from the old school, meaning that before the early 90s is when I started doing time, right? And we had this thing back then. It didn't matter. You can't come in jail and live off the strength of somebody else. If okay, let's say for instance, right? I'm doing time, right? And then you come in and you my homeboy, and automatically because I'm your man, they do it. Like I seen it. People trying to do this, like let they homeboys live off the strength. Off the strength mean that he come in and he get the same hand that you got because he's your man. Not in my world. Not when I was running it. Not you. Not. I don't care who you are. Right. And some of y'all cats, like I was in jail for so long, I ain't get a letter. I ain't get none of that. You got to think. You got to realize, man. Some of you dudes, you think you gonna go to jail, and that dude that you grew up with, that been in jail for the last 6, 7, 10 years, when he see you, it's gonna be lit. That's gonna be your man and all that, right? But guess what? You ain't even holler at that cat the whole time you was out here, man. Yo, things change, mentalities change, people evolve, and dudes that got life and a long time in jail, they mentality change about life and who they think is their friends in the first place. So you might not even have a friend there, Holmes. But I'm gonna just tell you how my operation ran. I don't care if you was my blood brother. If you came to where I was at, I'm sending them after you, Holmes. You wanna know why? Because you might be an agent. I ain't see you in forever. You coming up in here, you think you just gonna live? Man, I'm the one that's gonna rock you sleep and have two dudes come, you know what I'm saying, give it to you. Now, if you hold your own and you know what I mean, you put that work in, whatever that's, man, make it up. That's my dude. Get up out of here. Okay, I have a story about one. My man, let me explain something, right? It's a lot of times, even when you got problems with somebody in the street or whatever, because y'all from the same borough in New York, just how it goes. You might end up having to be together or be friends somehow because you got the same ops. You know what I mean? Like the ops might be a whole nother side of town or a whole nother borough or a whole nother, you know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. It's real oppy in jail, you know what I mean? It goes from the boroughs, and then inside the boroughs, you know what I mean, the 183rd dudes don't mess with the Webster dudes don't mess with the, you know what I mean? It's funny, it's funny like that. But for the most part, right, you back then you couldn't live off the strength of your mans. You're not living off the strength of your mans, you know what I mean? When you put that work in, you prove that, you know what I'm saying, who you are, you get through the doors, you know what I mean? Now, some of you cats, you got the dude that's trying to figure himself out, right? And then you have two dudes. I mean, really, you have three, right? You have the victim, you have the three type of mentalities, you know what I mean? You got all type of hats dudes wear in jail, but the mentality's like this. It's like, you the victim, the victimizer, or you the dude that's like in between that and just know how to cruise through your time and know how to be you too for the most part. And that's real important, man. If you don't know how to be yourself or live comfortably in your own skin around grown ass savage predators, you gonna get preyed on, man. You go up in there with the wrong type of crime. You go up in there and think you're gonna be practicing that stuff that you practice in the street when you was running from your ops. You're not gonna get away with it in jail, man. Jail is a whole prison's whole. It's a world that do. And if you wanna know something, y'all, me too. I was young and stupid. You niggas don't even think about the end result of what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't just talking about the dudes selling drugs and got that time to really marinate on what the hell they doing. I'm talking about dudes that make emotional decisions, be putting that twerk in for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Gunning people down and all that. Do you even, and some of y'all dudes be having kids and all that. I ain't had no kids when I went to jail. You got something to lose. So, you know, if you think about you not being there for your kids, or if you think about, you know, like the real treatment that you're gonna get in jail. Some of you dudes can't even be in a relationship with your chick without running out the house every 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Imagine you got a CO female that's coming up in there, pants all up her coochie, you know what I'm saying? The tightest of everything on, perfume, you know what I'm saying? With the nastiest attitude around. And for 8 hours, her only concern is to stress you out, especially if you some cute nigga. She gonna flaunt it all in front of you and bother you. And when the more you ignore her, the more angry she gonna get at you. I'm telling you, this is real. This is real. This is the realest I could tell you, man. They don't tell you about these little tiny things like that. They tell you about, oh, you can't see your family. Okay, yeah, you ain't gonna see your family. How deep is this, right? And one of my first visits that I went to after being up in prison for a while, I had visits for a while, maybe 2-3 years at one point, right? And by the time I went on the visit floor and I seen little kids, they looked weird to me. Right? You know what? When I seen that and it resonated on me, it made me sad. That's probably the first time I was sad during my time, because otherwise I was just a savage, right? A savage. And we're gonna get into some of them stories, because some of the things I'm gonna tell you, you have the, like, some people that's just gonna be stupid, right? Might not believe what I'm saying, but the ones that this needs to get to, you're gonna pay attention, and something is gonna resonate on what I'm saying. Is gonna prevent you from going through what the hell I went through. Don't think about the big things they tell you about. Think about the little things, like you got 10 years, you're not taking a bath in 10 years. You got 10 years, you're not you're not having sex for 10 years, bro, except for yourself. Now, if you like being in the bathroom, you know what I mean, trying to keep the noise of your slap down, because somebody's writing in the next cell, the next stall, doing the same thing, and probably 5 more, especially on Friday and Saturday nights, man, they up in there at the hotel dancing. Having a slap fest. Real talk. You like going to the visit floor, you know what I'm saying, coming off after seeing your girl, you know what I'm saying, joining all hard because you know what I mean, just, but in love and all that, and then you go back and then the CO tell you bend over and spread your cheeks. This is what y'all want. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something, for you fake ass drug dealers, for y'all dudes that's out there that think you getting some money and think this is an easy way out. This ain't no easy way out, selling dope and getting locked up and having your people try to take care of you because you ain't got no money. You ain't. Most of the drug dealers I know that was in jail, man, was, you know what I'm saying, was you know, like, pitiful, man. You know, I hear the stories. I don't see the end result as a good thing. I see recidivism. I see dudes come out and then go right back up in there. I was one of them. Trust me when I tell you. But, you know, God bless me, man. I haven't been to jail forever. I just ain't go back, you know. I don't know if you call it luck, ambition, or want to do something else. I wanted to travel. I wanted to have kids. You know, I didn't want to go back to jail, because if I went back to jail, you know, one of y'all uncles or father or brother or whatever, I would have ripped his face apart. Real talk. That's the type of time I was on. Or stabbed him and killed him. All right? Because that's what type of situations present themselves to you. Victim or victimizer, or the cool, smooth guy. Either way it goes, right? Even if you the smooth guy, it's cool. You know what I mean? It's cool to be yourself. You want to know why? You're going to fight no matter what. If you some punk ass dude, then you need to stop doing crime, period, man. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody gonna have you biting a pillow somewhere, and they're not gonna take it from you, because that's not how it operates in New York State prison. You know what I'm saying? That really, I've never seen that happen. A dude get raped But what I seen was a lot of you soft ass dudes that think you built for something and don't, especially you pillow talking dudes that's so emotional in the heart and not really smart, Y'all dudes all in love and miss, you know what I mean, in love with, man, that girl is out the door as soon as you got sentenced, bro. Feel me? But you can't deal with it. I seen dudes sit around crying all day, man. And listen, let me tell you something. I went in so young, I didn't have that much sense. I didn't have that much sense. And also, too, I really didn't. I really was taking my anger out on a lot of people just by having fun. Like I'm up in the block, you know what I mean? And me and my boy Hassan, Ty Guns, we go to the second tier, you know what I'm saying, HDM, and we start a water fight. And if you wanted to be in the water fight or not, you was getting wet, boy. I'm not talking about no water balloons, because where we was getting water balloons from? Come on, we would have been using the balloons to put the dope in, because we wouldn't have wasted for that. We was taking a garbage can, filling up with water, and the first person we felt like throwing that water on, you gonna get it. Period. All the monkey stuff you gonna deal with, man, you have no clue. Especially you young cats. You young cats, especially in New York, don't go to C-74, bro. I'm pretty sure it's way different than when I was there. Way more savage. And the crime rate could tell you that. Because in the years I was getting locked up, there was about 2,000 or 3,000 bodies dropping in New York City every year. Today you might have 200, right? Whole different time. But some things will always remain universal in jail. You cats that got gambling habits and all that don't know how to control yourself. You're gambling, you'll find out the hard way that that's not the place to, exercise your compulsions. You know what I mean? Dudes will exploit this. They will exploit you, bro. Jail. I think prison is the most manipulative place. You know what I'm saying? Ever, because dudes are, if they see, the game. It's like this. Once you tag lame, the game is follow the leader, right? And if dudes see a glitch in the matrix or they see something fragile in your characteristics, dudes is gonna exploit it and try to bring it out of you. You know what I mean? Like either way. And sometimes it don't even be that shit. It be just let's say like a dog that needs to go outside and run. He's in the house like just, you know what I mean? And the only thing you want to do is really go out and run. That's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be like the dogs need to run, and you're gonna be the one that's gonna get it. You know what I mean? You might develop all type of stresses and depressions dealing with dudes that's hurting you. You know what I mean? Or picking on you. But you're gonna have to deal with it if you show weakness. If you're one of those dudes that start crying in there, when you get a letter from your people, if you're one of those dudes that don't want to come out and do stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like you the antisocial dude, there's always something that they're gonna pick on. You feel where I'm coming from? But trust me when I tell you, I don't care what state you in. I feel like, being around a lot of criminals in my lifetime, being yourself is the safest thing to do, man. And let me tell you something too. The real gangsters, the real killers, the ones that got the time for doing all that stuff, those dudes are the most soft-spoken, chill type of dudes. You will never really know a dude get it shaken until you cross the wrong line. You know what I mean? Like straight up. But so you don't have to be extra. You don't have to be extra tough. You don't got to be tough guy. You ain't got to be the dude that was rich in New York and really you was just some broke dude. That's where a lot of y'all go wrong. Y'all go to jail and recreate or invent this person who you is, and nobody can verify that, man. And it's gonna get talked about, and it's gonna get exposed, and you're gonna be one of those dudes that's a victim, man. So, like I said, victim and victimizer. In some cases, victims turn to victimizer. You know what I mean? I think that's the case with a lot of us, man. You've seen something happen, you're like, you know what? It's not gonna happen again. Well, it was this kid, right? His name was let's just say his name was Cutter, okay? And Cutter was one of them dudes in jail. In Rikers Island, you got a team of dudes that they call house gang, right? When it's time to lock in at night, when into the morning, after they lock you down, some cats come out called house gang and they clean up the house. But when I was in adolescence, house gang, I would be a house gang getting the ticket for the house gang, you know what I mean, on the payroll, but it would be some off-brand dude that's doing the floors for me. I'm not about to mop the floors, man. You go mop the floor. House gang get busy. And he was one of those cats. He was just getting busy every night while everybody else collect the check. Cutter, right? They took him for joke, right? And we heard the stuff. We knew what was going on in that house. I was in the house next to the house where he was at. I eventually went to the house where he was at, and he had left. He had went to the Bing. The Bing is like the box, 23 and 1, right? If you're lucky in Rikers Island at that time, because you might not get that one outside, depending on how y'all was acting. So this kid Cutter goes to, he gets cut by this kid from the Bronx, right? And the kid from the Bronx that cut him, I actually had beef with that dude, man. I was gonna chop his head. I was gonna cut him, right? I didn't get a chance to, man. We ended up dead in the beef because somebody that he was real tight with was real tight with me, and it just couldn't go down. We ended up actually getting cool, but this kid took Cutter's face and bust him open. Boom! Now that kid that cut Cutter, he eventually got bust open too, right? But the way he bust Cutter open was real known around around C-74. Everybody knew about that cut because the dude had keloid skin and it ended up bubbling up. There's a few dudes that was like that in C-74. You know what I'm saying? Shadow, Shadow had China's Shadow that used to hang out with China had a big bust like that on his face. There was another kid that had a big bust like that. Kojak had a big bust like that. And what was his name from or Jefferson and Troop? Fangs. Fangs had a big ass cut like that on his face. A couple people had that big ass bust on their face, but he was one of the dudes that was known to have that big bust. And I don't know what it caused him, but those dudes that used to do him dirty down there in that block, yo, he used to catch while he was in the Bing. He was known as a Bing monster, right? He used to catch those dudes one by one, even if they didn't have nothing to do with it. You was just there cheerleading for it. Bah! And the cops, I don't know what this dude was doing. He was one of the first dudes that learned how to come up out them handcuffs. You know what I mean? Dudes used to come up out them handcuffs. I seen a couple of dudes. I seen junglers come out their handcuffs all the time. He used to try to show me. He used to come out of the cuffs and get back in the cuffs like, yo, it's man easy. I remember I used to grab Jungler's hand and move. He had like his bone, the police wired Jungler's teeth. You know what I'm saying? And Jungler's was a young adolescent dude, about 94, 93. He went up north in 95 because we was together. Me, him, Kaka, and Tankhead was together in the same house. This is it. Garland was up in there too. Ty Guns passed through there. Shaquille had came through for a second, right? This is downstate, right? Junglist, his fingers, yo, he used to he used to come out them handcuffs. You know what I mean? And the Cutter was another dude that figured it out. He's one of the first ones I heard about coming out them cuffs. And he was catching them dudes one by one. He used to be the victim. I mean, in no time, everybody was scared of that boy. You want to know why? Because he got to taste of blood and he stopped caring. You know, so there's always that tipping point, you know, but some dudes they don't reach that tipping point while they doing the bid. And I see dudes do the worst bids in New York State, man. I'm gonna tell y'all some stories of some stuff I used to do, man. And I'm gonna get some interviews with some cats that's free now, all right? That got some stories just like this, or they was doing the stuff I'm talking about in these stories with me, you know. They always classified me as a renegade Muslim, well, for a long time, you know, until I started maturing and growing up and start leading the right way, you know. For a long time, having power for a cat like me wasn't a good thing, man. I could really admit that because there's some decisions that I made that I was responsible for that I had to wear over the years, you know. Even though I probably didn't get caught for certain things, but I had on a personal level, you know, dealing with things that you did that you know that you could have done better, you know. And a lot of decisions we make based off of emotions, you know. That's what a lot of women do, man. I think God gave women for that feeling fat facility so they could, you know, and that's how women, you know how women always be like, yo, I feel this way, I feel that way, because they feel they way through their problems, which is appropriate for them. And you know, a woman could tell, you know, she pick up on them vibes based off her feelings. But men, We need to be thinkers, or the two need to coexist. You gotta, your thinking has to be in place, in order to coexist with your heart. I mean, excuse me, your heart has to be in place in order to coexist with your thinking. Once your heart is in the right place, your thinking becomes smarter and more healthier. I mean, you learn things trial and error. But that story about Cutter, man, oh man, it get real deep with him, man. But I seen a few dudes that was like that, man. I seen dudes go up in there, not a lot, but the ones that did do it because it's such a rare thing, we all remember them. And you don't remember the cowards. You don't remember the guy that was just locked in his cell, staying in his cell, all stressed out during the bid, acting like they did something to him because you did a crime and decided to come up in this house. You know what I mean? And that's how we treated it. That's how I treat the blocks I was in. I ain't allow all that. Y'all just cutting dudes up and jumping dudes. I'm not with none of that. And if I ever, God forbid, was in the pen, I'll be the same way. You're not gonna be just jumping. I'm not with a bunch of Spanish dudes jumping on a black dude. I ain't with no bunch of black dudes jumping on no Spanish dude. I would intervene on either part. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with none of that. And it goes on. It happens. It happens until somebody put their feet down. There's a lot of blocks I went to when I was in Rikers Island, and and the way they was laying the law was foul. Here it is, I'm Muslim, and they treating the black dudes foul up in there. You know what I mean? Giving them the, like taking most of the chicken, giving them some BS to eat. You know what I mean? Like foul. But when I wouldn't feel that same energy because there was gonna be some shots fired, straight up. But they treated other dudes certain way, and you know what I mean. And I intervened directly, especially in HDM. That's not going down, Slim. You know what I mean? There's a famous story that I might put out one day about what happened when we was in HDM and why I got up out of there. You know what I'm saying? It's going to get to a point where that story is going to come out. But I'm gonna tell you something like this, right? I didn't have none of that, man. When on my other video I talked about Ron doing Ace, I came up under that grain of people. You know what I mean? Like those dudes is really killers. You know what I mean? I didn't know them in the street. I learned them and met them in the prison system, and learned that about them, how to move through the prison system as an adult. Because when I came in there, I was a boy. You understand me? With a gun, ready to go. I had a crazy complex. I was young, pretty. You know what I'm saying? Don't even look at me, man, or it's going off. That's how it was. That's how it was. Even though I'm Muslims, I ain't care. I ain't care. You play with me, I'm coming for you, straight up. And that's a fact, Jack. I wasn't the toughest dude around. I'm not, that dude. I'm not that guy, right? But for most dudes like me that grew up in the prison system, we do have that sort of like disposition. Like, you're not gonna play with me, you're not gonna do nothing, you're not gonna press me, none of that's going on. I'm not necessarily gonna come in there and oppress y'all. There's times where I kept them under pressure, and there was a long time at the end of my bid where I didn't need that because the spots I was going to, everybody was falling in line. Sweet joints, you know what I mean? Like the smart criminals learned how to, manipulate that shit into be what they wanted to be. Outside of an investigation here and there, some dudes dropping slips on me and snitching on me, saying I'm extorting somebody, which I probably was, right? I had to eat. And my extortion was a little bit different. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean? Like, it was just, if you with the team, you got to put up, straight up. Dudes always act, you know what I mean? I want that cat, that dude be, nah, man, he with us, man. He chilling, man. He ain't do shit to you. You just don't like him. He ain't gonna let you run down on dude because you don't like him. He a part of the team, right? They call that extortion, but the dudes that was with the team didn't call it extortion. They call it appropriate because, let me explain something. If you some midget-minded, you know what I'm saying, dude from Rochester or whatever, no disrespect to Rochester. I know a lot of hitters out of Rochester. It could be anywhere. From wherever you from, and you can't hold your own, and you let some dudes run down on you, take all your stuff or whatever, you need to be in the crib with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Now, you might just have to wash the dishes and cook once in a while or whatever, or put some commissary up or whatever. But after a while, it becomes that person, because you're doing time with them. They become cool, and they get eventually, you know what I mean? They pay their dues, and they around. Now, I never see dudes like that turn into shooters. I seen dudes like that turn into loudmouths because they know that you hold them down. You know what I mean? But for the most part, them cats end up being cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, they end up being cool, man. You gotta let people live, man. Even if they soft and they might not be built the way you are, if you want to do a good bid, you're just going to learn how to integrate with people, So that's my thing. I mean, in the future, in the near future, I'm gonna be telling y'all about like after prison stories and what was the reality for me to come home and how I learned how to become a man on the streets, because I feel like a lot of things, a lot of crucial elements of being a man, I ignored the good advice because I went for the popular advice. When you come up under gangsters, you seem to, take gangsters' advice. So I learned that some of these so-called gangsters wasn't never really gangsters in the first place, and I shouldn't have been taking the advice or being intrigued by dudes that ain't about peanuts, ain't about jack, right? We'll talk about that because there's some dudes that pass on, you know, toxic information on purpose, and there's the majority that don't even understand their influence with the youth. So I have to be careful on how I present these stories and tell you things because I don't want you to get excited about none of this and think that you could be able to do it. You might not be able to do it, man. I think there's a part of me that's lucky, and God taking care of me, the Lord watching me and clearing the path for me. And then I feel that a big part was being smart, because the old saying, the strong rule the weak and the wise rule the strong. I was always a bookworm. I was always in the library. I went to college. I always gravitated towards learning stuff, I was about to say the other word. I gravitated towards that, I always been the gangster and the gentleman, the thug nerd, I loved the library. Even when I was used to be like locked down and stuff like that, and they allow you to go to the library once in a while, like up north when you got little BS keep lock days, whatever. I'll be in there National Geographic all day, then go to sociology books, and then go lock in with some Anne Rice books or some, you know what I mean, with Jackie Collins or Robert Ludlum, Sidney Sheldon. I went through authors, whole collection, Stephen King, Dean Koontz, like I could keep going. I never really read like the black novels and stuff, except for back in the days when I thought I was a real gangster coming through, reading all the Iceberg Slim books and the Donald Goines books. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I was smart, and I attribute being smart to a lot of things because it's not really an issue of you having to be too smart. It's really an issue of a lot of the people that you are systematically uneducated. A lot of these cats are systematically can't read or adapt to society, got learning disabilities, mental issues. So it's not like, prisoners, the category of prisoners, it's not hard to rise to top academically or just learning to be smart. Now, you got some dudes that don't know how to read and write, but they're crafty, right? And they're clever. You dig? They're clever. Might not have anything to do with reading. Some of these dudes can't read or count, but they know how to manipulate situations. So manipulation, I guess that's an art. And it requires a brain, you know what I mean? And it requires real study. Some dudes are sadistic, and this is all they have to do. I know some cats that's never ever coming home, and some of the things they practice is absurd. I know one cat that just on Sunday, he just don't talk at all, Like that's his thing. You walk past him and you're like, yo, what's up, bro? We used to call him Poe because he looked like Al Poe. Yo, Poe was good. We going on the court and ball. You know what I'm saying? Like he just didn't talk. He used to fast from talking. So anyway, Mac Me, another true story. You know what I'm saying? We gonna keep it lit. We're gonna put some more content out. I'm gonna try to stay on top of this, but I don't want to just be up on this just talking just to talk. I like to have something to say. So and let's grow this joint. Like the page or whatever, subscribe. You know what I mean? Share. The best share will be to a dude that is at risk of going to jail. Mainly the youth. Like share to that person. Don't just share to your page and be like, share to somebody. Think about what I'm saying. If it resonates, share to somebody that you think that this could work for, or share it to your page. Subscribe to the joint. You know what I mean? Because I'm not doing this just for fun. I want this message to get out. So the more y'all help me, the more this thing grows. It'll be a good look. As far as people, as this thing grows, if it do grow, people that see me that's going to cap or whatever, people going to say whatever, right? I just would like you to know this, right? Everything I'm saying is 100, and the best way you could be the best version of you you know, is networking and opening up doors and stop closing doors being negative. You know what I'm saying? Be positive sometimes. That shit work wonders. Alright? So I'm off this, man. Y'all be safe, man. True stories.